I'm Craig Hanson, guys, and yes, welcome to my video. Jon Rahm, what a ball striking machine. This guy, best ball striker on the planet the last couple of years from tee to green. Statistically, an absolute animal. And we're going to get in there and have a look at what this guy is doing and perhaps pick up a couple of things for our own games. I just really enjoy to see what the best ball strikers are really doing. Now, one of the interesting areas is, getting to the top of the swing and seeing that this lead wrist is so bowed and into flexion here. It's almost like his left hand sitting on a motorbike throttle, isn't it? Now, one of the advantages of this weak grip that he has and this bowed position is that the club gets really laid off like this. Now, years ago that was deemed as being really incorrect, but what it actually can do is this guy can actually now steepen that club on the plane. Now, we've been how many videos are out there, how to shallow your entry and how to flatten the shaft and how to hit it from the inside. Well, this guy can actually steepen. He's got the luxury to steepen it and split it through the forearm. Have a look at that for a position where filming your swing is such an important part. The head moves down 1 to 3 inches. That's the PGA Tour average. Not a mistake. It can help them hit it with a bent right arm and hang on to their angles and use the ground better as leverage. Now, when he brings this club down, you can have a look at this arm position. He's almost like pulling it in. Have a look how he does this. Now, why isn't this looked at enough? Look at this right arm here, people, closing up the gap. Really a great drill in itself as we're getting this right arm to get against the ribs. Now, club golfers, unfortunately, they're flipping it in fat shots and thin shots, casting it, losing angles. And what are we actually seeing there? A lot of the time, unfortunately, we're seeing this big wide gap and angle in here. It's really important to understand, working with your mobile phones, filming your swings with this V1 system, we can get in there and close up some of these gaps, improving, chipping away at your golf, a really important part of it. Now, looking at these great players, they've got different swings, but they're not all swinging differently, if you know what I mean. So you have a look at Justin Thomas, who's got also a weakish grip, but a flat left wrist at the top. You'll see that actually both players bring the club down just prior to impact when the club's parallel in very, very similar positions in regards to their lead wrist, and the lead wrist being into flexion. Now, let's just zoom in with this V1 Pro system. You have a look at what an unbelievable system used by Tiger Woods himself. Have a look at that lead wrist, and you can see Justin Thomas. So both the lead wrist is both really bowed or moved into flexion. And this is a really important part for a lot of people, keeping your left wrist very, very flat at the top or even slightly bowed. For a lot of golfers out there, makes it much easier to hit the ball. Now, looking at the characteristics of an incredible ball striker, the best in the world, what we see through the ball is we see that their arms are parallel to the ground. We see this incredible V system. We see that their heads have dropped through the ball. And we see this with Victor Hovland. We see this with Rory McIlroy. We see there's just so many different players. And we actually get a gauge of where these shoulders are in relationship to a line. And they're often into the high 50s. We'll see actually Justin Thomas, which is unbelievable. The 60 degree area here, side bend and neck tilt, and moving up into a wonderful finish position. It's not really looked at enough. These great positions of moving through the ball and on the side. Let's have a quick look now from the front view at some compression and a driver position that I think you're going to find very, very interesting. So guys, the compression through the golf ball, there's fat shots and thin shots, and how good does Jon Rahm do this? Have a look at this. Unbelievable position. Now, looking at compression and shaft length, one of the great things with getting in there and measuring shaft length is really important. Let's just take that back shaft there. Look at that. We've got 15 degrees of shaft length. Now, 90 illustrating 0. Now, the tour average there with your higher irons is 12 to 15 degrees of shaft length, 4 to 6 inches of lateral shift. And we can get a gauge of that when you're filming your swings. You're popping a line here up from the left angle, illustrating the wall. Now, judging getting half your left thigh through that wall, for players that don't have as much angle here, you can get up to 3/4 of your left leg through that wall. This will help shaft length. This will prevent fat shots and thin shots. And we can see how well that Jon Rahm does it through the golf ball. Unbelievable line, compression line here with the shaft and the lead arm in one line. Unfortunately, with the club players, we're not seeing that a lot. We're not seeing the lateral shift, which is causing them to sit back and flip. Got to get those legs moving forwards. And, once you get that shaft into 90 degrees, we're having some trouble. So hoping that everyone out there can get an understanding of how important it is to film your swings, using an app like V1 and get in there and having a look at these positions. The closer you get to these averages of movement, people, the better that you're going to hit the golf ball. Now, when we look at the driver position from Rory McIlroy here and Jon Rahm at the top of the swing, you're going to see something really, really interesting. You're going to see a move downwards that these top players all have in common. Now, we're going to see them start off in the yellow circle, and we'll see a little bit of movement downwards, but watch how the head moves with the driver back and to the right, with the head ending up in the blue circle. So we have a movement from the players down, they're shortening the right side and extending this lead side, moving this lead side up. And you can actually get a gauge here of where their shoulders are. I mean, there's an average there, and we can have a look and get a line through the shoulders, and we can say that they're around 35 to 30 degrees, getting in and running a line through these shoulders. And the closer you get to these positions, the better you're going to hit. But really, letting your head with your drivers just drop slightly back and to the right is going to help a lot of you hit the ball on the way up, a much better extension through the golf ball to free up your drivers and hit better shots. Guys, hope you enjoyed the analysis. What an amazing swing that is of Jon Rahm.